So the Chiefs have a couple pretty surprising things going on worth talking about from today's pressers, practice, as well as a recent report that suggests a very key position group we've been watching out for could have some changes on the horizon here very soon. So I've got to talk about that, look at the most updated injury reports from both teams, and then I'll have a little conversation with content creator Scooter Magruder, who's a huge Cowboys fan about this upcoming game. So let's get into all that and more. But first, how about those? All right, so the Week 13 matchup against the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving, it's going to be here before we know it. Short week of prep as players and coaches scramble to prepare game plan-wise, kind of like we used to last minute before a school test. It's common for these quick turnarounds, so it's not like anybody's surprised here. Spags told the media today on a short week like this, you aren't able to introduce as many wrinkles into the game plan as you typically would with a full week of prep, or spend as much time as they normally would in the film room from the last game, so the Colts game, but they've game planned a bit ahead of time for the Cowboys game prior to this week, which does help some. Matt Nagy said players are trying their best to get their bodies right after playing 96 total plays on Sunday. Recovery is key right now for everyone. Kareem Hunt especially is probably feeling it right now after a career-high 30 carries on Sunday. Hunt shared today that he's just taking things a day at a time with his body right now. Sleep, cold tub, massage, all that is a part of it. And yeah, he got to play a lot of football on Sunday, but that is what he loves to do. On Thursday, the goal is just to put the pads on, use a little adrenaline, and just try and forget about being sore, tired, or any of that. Essentially, it's go time. And honestly, it's a very important game for both teams. I'll get into more of that in tomorrow's preview video, but there is a lot on the line here. And get this, that fumble that Kareem Hunt lost on Sunday in the fourth quarter, that was the first time he'd lost a fumble since his rookie year, since 2017. Kareem said he never wants to have that feeling of losing a fumble and honestly hates it. Stuff happens, but he was determined to go out there and make plays for the guys after that, and he certainly did do just that. Mahomes spoke on Kareem Hunt saying, quote, "I'm sure he wasn't feeling great after running some of those runs back to back to back, but he's a guy that will do whatever it takes to win and is the type of guy you need on your team." Andy Reid was proud of Hunt, noting that he's upright, so that's good, and doing well all things considered. It's a credit to the work that Kareem has put in up until this point. On a short week, Big Red said they are condensing everything with lighter practices. Players had a walkthrough yesterday and a lighter 10-10-10 style practice today, so you're cycling through 10 minutes of offense, 10 minutes of defense, and 10 minutes of special teams. And regarding the players who did not practice today, they remain the same as the day prior. Two players, Noah Gray, concussion protocol, and Trey Smith with the ankle. He's got a bunch going on with the ankle there, so he's not going to play. Neither is Noah Gray on Thursday. We know that much. But Andy Reid seemed confident that those listed as limited on Monday, so Leo Chanel with the knee, Rashee Rice with the hamstring, and Xavier Worthy with the ankle should play. Quote, "I think they'll be all right, but we'll see how it all rolls." Remember, Monday's practice was simply an estimation, nothing more. Well, the good news is all three of those guys upgraded from the estimated report on Monday from limited to full today. The only guy who didn't trend in an upward direction is defensive back Chris Roland Wallace, who's dealing with a back issue after having to leave the Colts game early. He was a full go on the estimated report on Monday, but limited today. Everyone else but Roland Wallace, and then of course Noah Gray and Trey Smith, fully participated in their light 10-10-10 practice today. So that is definitely a good sign that most of these guys should be playing on Thursday. It's worth noting that on a short week like this, it's tough to fully gauge either team's injury report, and we will not really know until just prior to the game, to be honest with you. Now, the players to watch out for on the Cowboys, if we look at their injury report, would be defensive tackle Osa Odighiwusa. He's dealing with an elbow issue. Wide receiver George Pickens, knee, calf, and wide receiver Kavontae Turpin, their return specialist, shoulder illness. All three of those guys would not have practiced yesterday via their estimated report and were limited today. Another guy to look for is defensive end Jadeveon Clowney, neck. He was limited 2 days in a row. But again, we won't really know until maybe tomorrow, and then maybe even not till like 90 minutes prior to the game. I will just say this. With all these players on the injury report, I would put money down on everybody playing aside from their left tackle, Tyler Guyton, who, like Trey Smith, is dealing with an ankle injury. So both of these lines for the Chiefs and the Cowboys will be down a starter on Thursday. All right, coming up next, I'll dive into a couple pretty interesting developments in the running back room that features a brand new player possibly playing here very soon. And then I have a fun quick hitter conversation with content creator Scooter Magruder as we talk a little Chiefs and Cowboys. But first, I've got to let you guys in on 3 of my favorite picks for this game against the Cowboys using Underdog, the season-long partner of the channel, and the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. For starters, I got to hit the higher on Patrick Mahomes' 268.5 passing yards. It's pretty simple. He's hit that in 4 of his last 5 games, and the Cowboys are allowing the 3rd most yards through the air of any team. I think this could turn into a little bit of a shootout, and the Chiefs' run defense is solid, so I expect Dallas to air it out a bit, which is why I'm also taking the higher on Dak's 32.5 pass attempts. That's a number he's hit 8 times this year already. And finally, with Rashee Rice popping up on the injury report with a hamstring, I do think he plays, but I felt more confident about Xavier Worthy's 2.5 receptions. I hit the higher on that because he's done that in 5 straight games. So be sure to tail by clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment down below. Or of course, feel free to make your own picks by selecting higher or lower on your favorite player's stats for a chance to win up to 5,000x on your money. Just use my code HBTC where any new signup can play just $5 to get $100 in bonus funds. Plus, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, it's officially feast week on Underdog. To celebrate, they're giving out new promos every single day from Wednesday the 26th through Sunday the 30th, so be sure to check the app daily for special promos like gimme picks, profit boosts, and supercharged entries. All right, on the subject of injuries, somebody we know on the Chiefs that will be playing is a running back making his return after nearly a month away, Isaiah Pacheco. Andy Reid said, we'll see how he does today, but they'll get him in there, talking about the game, and he will play. How much? Can't tell you that right now, but we'll see how it goes. His favorite saying on planet Earth is, we'll see how it goes, so that means nothing to me, but Pacheco is going to get some snaps in this Cowboys game for sure. My question is, how much and how does he look out there? And then, of course, does his knee hold up? Is he able to stay healthy and keep that protected? Hopefully, he can at least split some carries with Kareem Hunt and take a little weight off his shoulders. And then I'll assume we could see another practice squad elevation from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, though I'm not sure if he'll actually get activated or not. Remember, you could elevate somebody from the practice squad, but not activate them on game day. Elijah Mitchell could instead be activated, but they do not seem to trust that man out there. For whatever reason, we may never truly know. And honestly, I'm not even sure that his future with the team is safe, considering there was a new addition to the practice squad made yesterday, with the team signing former Texans running back Dameon Pierce. Well, you'll see why I think Elijah Mitchell could soon maybe be the odd man out. The problem is the guaranteed money on his contract. It might make them hesitant, but if you're not going to play the man and you're going to have somebody else playing over him that you just signed to the team, let him go for the love of God. Before I get to that, to make room for Pierce on the practice squad, they terminated the practice squad contract of wide receiver Jimmy Holiday, so that was yesterday, and Pierce was indeed seen out there at practice today wearing number 34. Andy Reid said that the main thing for Pierce right now is to get him in there and get him to learn what they're doing. So learn the system, learn the scheme, learn the protections, all that. They'll take it from there, but he is a good player, having had NFL production with the Texans in the past, and Andy, of course, then said that he trusts Veach on moves like this that he makes. I shared much more in depth about Pierce, his NFL history, and all that kind of stuff in yesterday's video, but my initial expectations of Pierce wasn't to see much action for a few weeks here, with more usage being for the playoffs, if they make it. Everybody cross your fingers right now, unless they want to use him in the return game. He has kick return experience, so that could happen quickly, even on Thanksgiving if they wanted. Well, Nate Taylor of ESPN actually said that the Chiefs hope Pierce can make his debut for the team against the Texans. So that's on December 7th, only 12 days away. That might seem a little bit crazy, but Kareem Hunt was signed by the team last year on September 17th, and he also made his first appearance about 12 days later, carrying the ball 14 times for 69 yards and catching 2 passes as well against the Chargers. The one thing Hunt had going for him over Pierce is that he was on the team for nearly 2 years, 2017 and most of 2018, with the same head coach, same system for the most part, right? Well, he was gone for like 6 years. So if Kareem Hunt can play meaningful snaps in 12 days after 6 years away, I would think that means Dameon Pierce could as well. That's sooner than I expected, but I'm not going to complain, and we'll take any upgrade to the running back room that we can possibly get. Now, I have no idea if Pierce will be a use in case of emergency guy on offense with some kick returns on special teams, or if he instantly gets a heavy workload like Kareem's first game back. Things seemed a bit more desperate then. You had basically no choice because CEH was on the NFI, and then Kareem Hunt broke his ankle. But either way, it seems like the team wants Pierce out there, helping them in some capacity, which I would think doesn't bode too well for Elijah Mitchell personally. But that's where I want to get your thoughts on this entire situation. What do you hope happens with Dameon Pierce? Are you wanting to see him have real playing time ASAP? And then what do you think the team ends up doing with Elijah Mitchell? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And with that, let's get into some Chiefs and Cowboys talk with the content creator and huge Cowboys fan, Scooter Magruder. All right, Scooter, I'm not sure we would have found both of our teams. I mean, maybe you didn't have lofty expectations after the Micah Parsons trade prior to the season. I'll get your thoughts on that. But for Thanksgiving, both teams are finding themselves in basically a must-win game here. The Cowboys, they are 5-1. The Chiefs are 6-5. So both of these teams right now, they're in the hunt. It was looking a little ugly for you guys even just a couple weeks ago. 3-5-1, trade deadline comes. You've now got Quinn and Williams. Things are starting to pick up. The offense was never really the issue. You guys came off of a crazy comeback win over the Eagles. I'm sure you're still riding high. It was 21-0. You guys end up winning 24-21. The Chiefs, they had their largest fourth quarter comeback against the Colts in the Patrick Mahomes era, down 11, ended up winning. So both teams, big comeback victories, but super short week and dealing with a couple injuries here or there. How are you feeling right now? Let's just go Cowboys offense, because that's it's insane over there. How are you feeling about the offense, and is there any concerns over there based on injuries or just things you've seen from them in the recent weeks here, the last couple of games maybe?
When it comes to the Cowboys offense, I've always felt optimistic. In my opinion, the Cowboys offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL. I think we have the best wide receiver tandem in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I don't know why the Steelers allowed us to get this man for a third and a fifth. A lot of people like to hate on Jerry Jones. Let's remember this trade right here. We are talking about a receiver who was second most in reception yards. I think he's playing the best in the NFL right now for a third and a fifth. And when CeeDee Lamb is using his hands to catch the ball, I would take these receivers over anyone. You look at our running back in Javonte Williams. Again, Jerry Jones is cooking. He is averaging one of the highest rushes per attempt in the NFL right now.
He's fifth in rushing yards as well, man.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you, he's averaging more than Saquon Barkley is averaging right now. Jake Ferguson at tight end is a beast. He's underperforming a little bit this year, but he is catching touchdowns left and right. If there's any negative at all, it just comes to inconsistently on the O-line. Tyler Guyton's probably going to be out for this game against the Chiefs. So we'll see. Terrence Steele as well has been up and down sort of all season at right tackle. But you look at the Tylers, the Great Wall of Tyler, and it is a monster. Okay, Jerry also hit with this pick in Tyler Booker, one of the highest graded rookie guards out there. A lot of people were saying this was a reach, but the only thing that's been reaching is Tyler Guyton into the defense's shoulder pads as he pancakes them, because he has been spectacular so far this season once he's acclimated to the NFL. So for me, Shoddy has taken this offense to a new level. I have complete confidence in this offense going up against any defense in this league.
Dak, I was curious how he would look coming off the big hamstring injury, but he looks great. Dak's and Mahomes' stats are actually very similar from attempts, completions, yards, interceptions, except Dak has about 6 more passing TDs than Mahomes. So Dak is playing at a very high level. That is probably one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL, as long as Lamb is catching those passes. So it's a problem, I think, for the Chiefs defense to look at all these weapons. And, the Colts are a really good offense, but I just kind of said, well, if you can sell out to stop Jonathan Taylor and force the game to be won or lost on the back of Daniel Jones, I feel pretty good about that. Well, you could take away the run game of Dallas, and then you have Dak Prescott back there with Ferguson, CD, and Pickens. It's going to have its own set of problems, especially with like the Chiefs D-line. They've struggled. They did a good job last week, but they've struggled really getting home. So if anybody can take advantage of maybe your left tackle not playing, that would be helpful. If we flip to the other side, your defense, I thought, was just going to be the worst in the NFL for all year. But Jerry Jones has cooked up a little bit. The last 2 weeks, Quinnen Williams, he's had 15 pressures. I think he had either a season high or career high 8 pressures last week. And that's the interior. So a big matchup for me to watch. Trey Smith, Chiefs right guard. He's not going to play. He's dealing with a high and a low ankle sprain. I didn't know you could have both.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's multiple in the same ankle. But he's not going to play. You have a solid rest of the line. Left tackle, like Josh Simmons has been awesome rookie year. Kingsley Suamati at guard, Creed Humphrey, and then Jawan Taylor's fine when he's not getting flagged. But Mike Caliendo will be the right guard, and he is the weak link. He's not great. Okay, he's serviceable at times. But if I'm the Cowboys, I'm looking at that matchup. Mike Caliendo, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark. I mean, there's other guys on your line, too, that can kind of tee off. Who was the guy with the long last name that I suck at pronouncing?
Osa Odigizua. So we have 3 defensive tackles who are getting paid high money. I'm looking for the Cowboys to actually keep all 3 of these defensive tackles potentially because they've been wreaking havoc.
Yes.
If you look at what Quinnen Williams has been doing since he got to the Cowboys, he's number 1 overall PFF rated defensive tackle since the trade. The Cowboys defense traded Micah Parsons, and we did not replace him. The Quinnen Williams trade replaces Micah Parsons. Now you have that same pressure that was hitting from the outside, but it's coming inside, and it's coming fast. Quinnen Williams, his rate off the ball, right, his get-off speed, once the ball is snapped, I saw during the Raiders game, it was 0.02 seconds faster than Max Crosby.
Wow.
So he's getting off that ball quick, and he is hitting you, and he is getting to the quarterback. Pressures mean a lot. Just because you don't register that sack, you still are getting to the quarterback. You're still affecting the game. And Quinnen Williams, since he's come in, not only has he affected the game on the field, we were down 21-0 at halftime. What happened? They all said Quinnen Williams stood up and gave a speech, and he said, let's go take that. You know, I like it like this. I don't want it to be easy. Quinnen Williams already has become a leader for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think that's something that's been understated. Micah Parsons, there was a lot of friction in the locker room, especially with him doing that podcast that he just happens to not be doing anymore now that he's a Packer. But Quinnen Williams, on the other hand, it's the other way. He's bringing people together. He's uniting that defense. And also, we can't take for granted, while it was very unfortunate, the passing of Marshawn Nealon, it has had a uniting effect for the Cowboys. They were even flying his flag after we beat the Eagles in that game. So this defense, something's happened with this defense, and it's for the better.
How do you kind of see this game playing out just based on what you know about the Chiefs, how they're playing, and then the Cowboys? Where are you kind of at with this right now for this Thanksgiving matchup?
In my opinion, I'm looking for the Cowboys to blow the Chiefs out, just based off of how the Chiefs have been playing.
And hey, if you're enjoying this conversation with Scooter, make sure to follow him on social media. He's everywhere, at Scooter Magruder. Huge platform on everything: Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of it. He's got a huge following, pretty funny guy, and I think you will really enjoy his content if you aren't already. Most of you are probably already subscribed. Anyway, with that, let's get back to it.
In my opinion, I'm looking for the Cowboys to blow the Chiefs out. This is a do or die game for both teams, okay? And again, I fully expect the Cowboys to come up with a fire lit under them. It is Thanksgiving. I think the last time we played the Chiefs, Mahomes embarrassed us. We are looking for revenge. Post Malone is going to be performing at halftime. I like our offense to come out and set the tone early. I've been watching the Chiefs, and it just seems like something is off. This doesn't seem like the Chiefs who won Super Bowls. It seems like a different version. And so they look beatable to me. Mahomes seems to be running for his life routinely every other play. We'll see if Quinnen Williams can get there, but I would love to see a blowout, 21 plus points from America's team on Thanksgiving. Let's go, boys, led by Rain Dakota Prescott, as the Dallas Cowboys firmly establish themselves as playoff potential competitors. If we lose this game, though, go ahead, wrap it up. Let's look at some mock drafts. Let's get ready for next season. But we'll see how it plays out.
I think the way that the Chiefs are built right now, I would be kind of surprised if it's a blowout loss. I do see a lot of people picking the Cowboys to win, though. If you're going like position group by position group, the high-flying offense of the Cowboys with the improved D-line of your defense, I can see how people are getting there. The Chiefs haven't lost by multiple scores this year. All their losses are literally off of one score. I think their point of margin in defeats is like 4. And it's partially because the offense, they're not explosive. No, but they have some of the longest drives in the NFL, time of possession, points per drive. So they take forever to get down the field, but often end in points. So it limits, in theory, the opponent's drives, but you guys are super explosive. CD, Pickens, 50 yards here, 48 yards there to really catch up quickly against the Eagles. So you say you want it to be a blowout. Is that what you actually think is going to happen, or is that like wishful thinking?
Listen, Cole.
Yep.
I got the Cowboys by 21. Thanksgiving Day. It will be a glorious Thanksgiving. I will be well fed. Cowboys by 21. It is going to be the best Thanksgiving in a while.
You know, people watching this video are going to be like, yeah, you're insane. But you also did say last week at halftime or whenever during your stream, the Cowboys are coming back and they're winning this game. So it sounds insane. You willed it into existence last week. I would be very surprised. But if that ends up happening, I will buy you something, a Cowboys jersey, whatever you want, because I'll take you up on that. The Chiefs are not losing by multiple scores. But I think it's going to be a good game. There's a lot on the line for both teams. Just what you said. If the Cowboys lose, mock draft season, essentially. If the Chiefs lose, you're 6-6. You're going to need some stuff to go your way. You have 4 or 5 of these last games here, all against AFC teams, and 3 against AFC West teams. So there's still hope for the Chiefs if they lose, but it's borderline a playoff game for both teams here. And that's why I think when you've got Spags, when you've got Andy Reid, when you've got Mahomes, I know kind of what's on the line. Cowboys are at home. It's Thanksgiving. I get it. But I would be very surprised if it's a blowout. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be close. But man, I don't want to win for you guys, but best of luck and stay healthy.
Absolutely. All socials are at Scooter Magruder, and go Cowboys.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Scooter. I think he's insane for saying the Cowboys are going to win by 21, but let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. What is your score prediction going to be? And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?